Yeah, you mentioned gaming, and I'm 50. I'm no spring chicken. I haven't probably actively gamed in about 10 years, although I did go play Axie Infinity a few weeks ago just to get myself into it. I bought some Axies. I thought they died. I thought I lost $300 of Ethereum, but they came back. So it was a great experience, and I had a great conversation with Yatsu of Animoca Brands I'll probably reference today. But I played Atari back in the day. My dad brought it home, and I was playing Pong and playing the tank game, and then we moved on to Nintendo. Then I moved on to computer games on my Apple II Plus, Castle Wolfenstein. I think I'm remembering. I haven't said that in like 30 years. But like you said, I can't access any of those experiences. I couldn't even go back and take a peek, because they're all gone. Imagine if I could go just, watch one of the games played or access those characters. And we can't do that because none of those things were ever NFTs. They were just owned inside that closed metaverse of the gaming world. And so for people out there that maybe don't consider themselves gamers, I guess that's the way to think of it. Think of it if you could go back and maybe access some of these life experiences you had, and you want to make that so going forward we can always have ownership of that stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny you mentioned the past. I started off, on Nintendo, the original Nintendo, and the PC. I mean, I had an old 486 computer. Played Wolfenstein, played all that stuff. When I was a kid, probably shouldn't have been playing that stuff that early. But then, there was a Game Boy, and my first experience with something kind of like these NFTs was the Pokemon game. They had this amazing idea that you could link two Game Boys together. You'd be collecting these Pokemons inside the game. You'd link two Game Boys together, and then you could trade your Pokemon with your friend, or you could fight, with your friend. So that was like, wow, this is like revolutionary when I was a kid, right? And now we want to bring this sort of concept into the future and actually let you own these things. I mean, one of the most crazy things is that you are spending these hundreds, thousands of hours online, whether it's in games or on social networks or whatever you're doing. Now we have the metaverse coming, right, with Facebook and Meta. You don't want to have the opportunity for being deplatformed in the online space, or just for your identity to be erased, right? This is you living inside this world. Your brain is inside this digital world.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole another interesting conversation about, ownership of data. I mean, I had a guest on called it digital colonialism. It might have been Yat, who basically said, we were trained that we shouldn't own our information because we grew up on these Web 2 versions of Facebook and YouTube where we freely gave up our information, our identities, and then later, potentially that information was, used or controlled or taken away. We're not even used to owning our own info in terms of an NFT. And so you almost have to re-educate the public and say, hey, hold on a second. You should be allowed to take these things with you. This is your time, your vibrations. And look, I'll just quickly say, Witek, last year I almost lost my whole YouTube channel, and it was a travesty because it was my whole business. But on a personal level, it was 9,000 videos of my whole life for 9 years. My vlogs, in my intimate moments, my movies. And if that had been deleted, I had no copy of that, not to mention a copy that was referenced in through basically the world of life and search and all that. And so at one point, that kind of bothered me that someone else could control, some weird part of my identity. So it's
the same thing happened to me, actually. Well, my wife, she didn't want to put her real name on Facebook, right? And we had, all our photos, our history, our dating, all the stuff on there on her Facebook profile. And because she didn't want to share her ID and share her real name, that all got deleted. And after a lot of attempts to talk with Facebook, they still said it's irretrievable. That's just terrible, right? We lost so much data.